We think of a smart camera as a window out of our home, something that gives us a real sense of security. But what happens when that window works both ways? In this explainer, we're going to walk you through the absolute essential steps to lock that digital window down tight, making sure your private life, well, stays private. Let's get right into it.
And that leads us to the central question, right? It's the one we so often forget to ask. We install these incredible devices to watch over our families, our pets, our property. But in this hyper-connected world we live in, the watcher can so easily become the watched. This is probably the single most important security question you need to answer for your home today.
And this is where things get really interesting and, frankly, a little scary. You see, a hacked camera isn't just about someone spying on you. It's much bigger than that. That little camera is basically a small computer that's always on, and hackers can hijack it and turn it into what's called a botnet node. That means they can use your camera's internet connection to attack websites, servers, other people. And the whole time, it looks like the attack is coming straight from your house.
So how exactly do they get in? You might be picturing some genius in a dark room furiously typing code, but the reality is way simpler, and honestly, much more common. Most attackers are just exploiting a few well-known shortcuts and weaknesses that are surprisingly easy for us to fix. So let's break down the 4 main ways they sneak in.
Okay, so here are the 4 big ones. First, and this is the most common by far, is using those default passwords. Admin and 12345. Hackers have programs that just guess these things automatically. Second, they take advantage of bugs in the camera's software, its firmware. Third, they can hijack the peer-to-peer connection. That's the magic that lets you view your camera when you're not home. They basically trick your camera into connecting to them instead of to you. And finally, if the video stream itself isn't encrypted, they can sometimes just tune in, almost like listening to an old radio station.
And here's the real kicker. That plug-and-play convenience we all love often comes at a huge cost to our security. Features like UPnP, that's Universal Plug and Play, are designed to make setup a breeze by automatically opening up little doors in your router. The problem? That's the digital equivalent of leaving your front door not just unlocked, but wide open, inviting automated hacker tools from all over the world to just waltz right in.
And wow, this visual really tells the whole story, doesn't it? Up top, you see a device that's just exposed directly to the internet. It's chaotic, a constant barrage of attacks and scans from everywhere. But down below, you see a device tucked safely behind a firewall. It's calm, it's quiet, it's completely invisible to all that noise. This right here, this is exactly where you want your camera to be.
Okay, so we've seen the risks, and it can feel a little overwhelming. But the good news is, securing your camera is totally doable. It's not about finding one magic button. It's about building what I like to call a digital fortress, a defense with multiple strong layers. And right now, we're going to show you exactly how to build it, one layer at a time.
Think of it like a real medieval fortress, right? It doesn't just have one high wall. It has high walls and a deep moat and vigilant guards on patrol. Your digital security needs to be exactly the same. Having just one single point of failure is just asking for trouble. Instead, we're going to construct a system where if one layer somehow fails, there's another one right behind it, ready to stop any intruders.
All right, so here's our blueprint. We're going to build this fortress in 3 strategic layers. First, we'll lock down the device itself with some core security settings. Second, we're going to isolate it on your network, build that moat. And third, we'll talk about the ongoing maintenance you need to do to keep your defenses strong over time.
Layer 1, this is your foundation, your first and most critical line of defense. And folks, this stuff is absolutely non-negotiable. First, get rid of that default password and create a strong, unique one, immediately. Second, if your camera supports 2-factor authentication or 2FA, turn it on. It's like adding a second, heavy-duty deadbolt to your door. And finally, log into your home's Wi-Fi router and turn off UPnP. While you're there, remove any manual port forwarding rules that point to your camera. This is how you close those open digital doors for good.
Next up, we build the moat. Now this is a little more advanced, but trust me, it is incredibly effective. What you can do is create a separate network just for your camera. It's called a VLAN. Think of it like setting up a guest Wi-Fi network that only the camera is allowed to use. That way, even if a hacker does break into the camera, they're trapped on that isolated network. They can't get to your laptop or your phone. Then, for watching your camera from outside, use a VPN. This creates a secret encrypted tunnel from your phone straight to your home network, making you totally invisible to anyone scanning for easy targets.
And finally, even the strongest fortress needs upkeep. First, make a habit of checking for and installing firmware updates. These are the patches that fix the security holes that hackers absolutely love to find. Second, and hey, sometimes the simplest trick is the best one, use a physical lens cover when you're home. pretty hard to hack a piece of plastic. And third, when you're buying a camera, choose a reputable brand that has a good track record of pushing out security updates and protecting its cloud services. All right, so we've looked at all the scary stuff, and we've talked about how to build up your defenses layer by layer. Now it's time to put it all into practice. To help you do that, we've put together a really simple security checklist you can use on your own cameras to see just how secure your setup truly is.
But before we get to the checklist, let's address the question that might be nagging at you. What if it's already too late? How can you actually spot the signs that someone might already be inside?
Okay, so there are 3 main red flags to look out for. First, a physical anomaly. The camera starts moving, panning, or tilting all by itself, or you hear strange voices coming from it. That is a big one. Second, a connection anomaly. You check the device's logs and see logins from IP addresses you don't recognize. And third, a visual anomaly. You notice the camera is suddenly pointing somewhere new, especially a private area like a bedroom or bathroom.
If you see any of those signs, especially the camera moving on its own, do not wait. Don't second-guess it. The single most important thing you can do is to immediately unplug that camera from your network. Then, perform a full factory reset to wipe out anything an intruder might have done.
All right, here it is, your take-home tool. Run through this little pre-flight checklist for every camera in your house. Have you set a strong password and turned on 2FA? Is the firmware fully updated? Have you gone into your router and confirmed that UPnP and port forwarding are both off? And finally, did you place the camera in a spot that avoids any highly private areas? If you can get all 4 of those to a solid yes, you are in a fantastic and very secure position.
And that really brings us to the main takeaway here. Security is not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of thing. It's an ongoing process. But the most important steps, the ones we talked about today, they really don't take that long. Spending just 10 minutes right now could save you from a massive headache and a really serious invasion of your privacy down the road.
So we'll leave you with this. Every single day, you lock your front door without even thinking about it. It's just muscle memory. It's time we all started treating our digital doors with that same essential level of care.